Nikko Jenkins, the most hated inmate in the world. A serial killer is someone who kills 3 or more people in 2 or more separate occurrences over a period of time, usually for mental reasons. The duration between homicides can range from a few days to months or even years. Now, in today's video, we'll talk about Jenkins, a well-known serial killer who killed on the orders of an old Egyptian deity. But before we talk about it, if you are new to our channel, welcome to 1%. Here we will give you only facts. So if you want more of that, leave a like and subscribe to our channel so that more people can enjoy these videos. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Nikko Allen Jenkins is a famous serial murderer who claimed to have committed crimes under the order of Apophis, an ancient Egyptian deity who represented chaos. In a handwritten letter, Nikko admitted that he would protect Apophis' dominion with terrible animalistic ferocity. Let's take a step back and try to figure out what happened in his life to make him a famous serial killer. Early life. Nikko Jenkins, born in September 1986, is an American serial killer who was convicted of 4 killings in Omaha, Nebraska. He was born in Colorado, USA, to Lori Jenkins and David A. Maggi. He was raised with his 2 sisters, Erica and Melanie, and was exposed to criminal activity as a child. His parents were responsible for those activities. Before dying in 2009, his father, David, was convicted of multiple crimes, including terrorist threats. In 2013, his mother was charged with being a felon in possession of weapons. All of this had a negative impact on Nikko, but he still believes that the Egyptian god Apophis is to blame for his misdeeds. He was detained at the age of 7 for bringing a gun to school. He was sentenced to 21 years in prison for carjacking 9 years later. Nikko assaulted a guard on duty twice and took part in a jail riot. Was he married? What was the name of his wife? Was he married or not? Nikko and Chalonda married at the Tecumseh State Prison in February 2010. On August 7, 2017, they formalized their divorce after 7 years of marriage. They only spent 4 weeks as a pair outside of prison during their time together. There are no children's records. Crimes and murders. We have stated that Nikko showed criminal tendencies even as a child. When he was 7 years old, he brought a gun to school. While he did not cause any harm to anyone, it was a red sign. He was sentenced to prison at the age of 15 for carjacking. He was condemned to 21 years in prison, but only served 10. He was involved in a series of spree killings within 2 weeks of being released from prison. Juan Uripena and George C. Cajiga-Ruiz, the 2 victims, had been shot in the head and their pockets had been turned inside out. They were persuaded to meet 2 women for sexual purposes. The murder spree began less than 2 weeks after his release from prison on July 30th with this random double murder. Curtis Bradford's body was discovered outside a detached garage on Clark Street on August 19th at about 7 a.m. by a man returning home after a night shift at a convenience store. When investigators arrived, they discovered 2 bullet holes in Bradford's back. Bradford and Jenkins had posed for a Facebook photo the day before. It was later revealed Jenkins would only recognize Bradford as a victim. Andrea Kruger, Jenkins' 4th and last victim, was discovered on August 21st by a deputy sheriff responding to a shots fired call. Her body was discovered on the side of the road with multiple 12-gauge shotgun wounds to the face, neck and shoulder. Kruger was on his way home from a bartending shift. Kruger's gold 2012 Chevrolet Traverse SUV was discovered abandoned 12 miles away in an alley at 43rd and Charles Street. Later that week, Douglas County Sheriff Tim Dunning held a news conference in which he revealed that investigators suspect that the SUV had been abandoned around 2.5 hours after being taken and that a feeble attempt had been made to set fire to the vehicles inside. How was he arrested? Nikko was detained in connection with unrelated terrorism threats made by his wife. When investigators discovered CCTV evidence from a local gun store, he was immediately linked to the crimes. The footage showed a lady purchasing guns similar to those in the murders. Additional footage has been obtained from cameras located along the route leading to Kruger's abandoned SUV. Nikko sent a handwritten letter to the Omaha World Herald prosecutors and a court in November 2013. Jenkins confessed to all 4 murders during an 8-hour questioning on the evening of September the 3rd. In it, he admitted to all 4 murders, but stated that he did so as a sacrifice to the Egyptian serpent god Apophis. Following his confession, he was charged with 4 charges of murder. While Nikko acknowledged the crimes, he also launched a federal lawsuit against the state of Nebraska, seeking $24.5 million. According to the spree killer, he was freed from prison too soon. He accused the state of wrongfully releasing him from prison before he was ready to face the world in this case. He also noted that they ignored his hearing voices from Apophis. The spree killer alleged they had not done enough to treat his mental health difficulties, and his wife supported him. She stated that he was not ready to be released from prison. Jenkins also stated that his issues were the result of mental illness. He claimed to be suffering from schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. Despite this, a medical examination revealed that he was faking psychotic symptoms in order to get released from prison. Is he still alive? A 3-judge panel sentenced him to death in May 2017. Given the horrible acts he had committed over the years, it was a watershed moment. Despite this, there has been no word of his death in 5 years. In addition, he was sentenced to 450 years in jail on firearms charges related to the murders. Nikko is currently in prison at the Nebraska Correctional Facility and is scheduled to be executed. His attorneys argue that he is too mentally sick to be executed. He mutilated himself in his cell in various ways, including engraving the number 666 on his forehead. However, because he was using a mirror, the numbers came out upside down. Was he guilty? Throughout his trial, both before and after, he blamed Apophis for his misdeeds. He said he committed the crimes under the orders of Apophis and confessed in a handwritten note. In it, he stated that he would protect Apophis' realm with vicious animalistic cruelty. Nikko changed his body in honor of Apophis. In 2015, he attempted to mutilate his penis to resemble the Egyptian god, but the procedure failed. He couldn't get it right, but that didn't stop him from experimenting with other portions of his body. As previously said, he attempted to carve the number 666, but the result was 999. He attempted to cut his tongue into the shape of a serpent, but it was another failed attempt. Nikko Jenkins' attorney told 6 News in 2019 that his client attempted suicide. He injured his eye and his neck. He was, however, hospitalized. Jenkins had gotten his hands on everyday goods that he has turned into weapons in the past. It was a cutting tool. He would occasionally take tiles off the wall and sharpen them. Jenkins sliced his throat before that. Another of many efforts, according to one attorney, that must be in the double digits by now. Jenkins is one of 12 male prisoners on Nebraska's execution row, sentenced to death for the murders of 4 persons. Riley believes that the most relevant evidence may have impact on the case's outcome. The Nebraska Supreme Court is currently considering an appeal of Jenkins' trial and sentencing. But this new information is not a factor. Riley may ask the trial court to reconsider Nikko's case based on that ruling. You now understand what a mentally ill individual can do to another person. Share this with your friends who you think would benefit from watching this video, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any future content. Until then, stay safe.